to it probably the last 10 or so. And what I'm doing now is just going through and surface grinding. Recently found out that I ended up chasing my tail quite a bit, trying to figure things out, and realized that a lot of it was due to the frames not being perfectly flat. So that worked out a lot of my smoothness issues that I was having, and I ended up having to do a lot of hand fitting, and ended up doing a lot of work with some compounds, like rubbing compounds, to get the action real smooth. So what I'm doing is just going over and touching off on these, so I'll show you what it looks like. So, as you can see, I've taken one pass and I took 0.003 off of this, and it's probably a little hard to see. Let me see if I can get over on this side, maybe. Maybe not. Alright, so I'll just run this across real fast. Just a sec here. Okay. So, this is just a 120 grit belt. Probably got 2 frames on it already. I took 3 thou off, and you can just see some of the markings from the plate before, and it's got some spots where it cleaned up real nice on the edges, but it's got a little dip to it. This side cleaned up pretty nice. So what I do is I'll probably take another 3 thou off of this, and it'll make it nice and perfectly flat. This is old Brown & Sharp, and it holds 5/10 tolerance all day long, even with the belt conversion on it, so I've been pretty happy with it. So I've noticed now that I'm getting these perfectly flat, I don't spend half as much time fiddling with them at the end of the day. So it saves me a lot of time in the long run. So just a little Hoback tip, I guess you'd say. So you guys making folders, make sure you're getting these inside frames as flat as humanly possible. Even on a disc sander, it's going to help. Surface grinder is ultimately the best way to do it, but if you just have a disc sander, it does pretty well too. I had to disc sand a couple of these frames just because they're rounded already before I realized this, and I couldn't surface grind them, seeing as how the top of the face was rounded. So I'm just finishing up surface grinding these A10s, and then I'll switch over to the last of the A15s, and yeah, then we're about done. I'm gonna have to run in and go get some more glue sticks, because I hot glue all the frames to the surface grinder, as you can see. So that's what holds them down, seeing as how they don't stick to the magnet chuck. So the old beat up glue stick there, or hot glue gun. So really enjoying the belt conversion. I'll give you some HD close-up here on that. This makes my life a lot easier. I can take a 10 thou pass and steel, no problem. I've actually pushed it to 15. Get a little bit of edge rounding, but it's not too bad if you just take a cleanup pass without dropping the Z. Works pretty good. I had a handle off an old grinder, like a 4.5 inch grinder. Got all the wheels from Beaumont. Yes. Got a little fancy with the bracket here, but nothing crazy. It's all just 1 inch aluminum. And then I just took the original dust guard and cut it off so the belt would fit, and then I mounted with some countersunk cap screws to the back of that. And then this will actually rotate and slide around, so I can actually tilt this whole assembly back and tilt it any way I want. I gotta build some guards, some dust guards across here and across here, because every once in a while I'll get a spark that shoots up to the ceiling, but nothing too bad. So let me finish this up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so just got it done surface grinding. Got fingerprints all over it already, but now you can see that it's nice and shiny, both sides of the frame. So I got nice even contact all the way across. So ultimately, your best way of doing this is, if I was going to do this over again, and now that I know this, or for anybody that's doing it to start with, if you get your blanks from WaterJet, your best bet is going to be to surface grind them or disc sand them first, both sides. Make sure they're nice and flat and parallel, then drill and counterbore your holes. That's going to equal out to a pretty nice and flat counterbore. I'll go through after I get done grinding the other side of these, and then just touch off on the bearing pocket again, just to make sure that it's nice and flat and parallel on the mill. Other than that, pretty good to go. So now what I'm going to do is just grind in the relief for your thumb, so you can get your finger in between the frames. on both sides, so when they're apart it'll have a little scallop in the middle, and then chamfer the edges on the inside that are exposed so it doesn't cut your finger, and then pop them back together, Dremel everything to match, and chamfer the edges of the backspacer loop, a few other things like that, and then that's off to sandblasting and finishing. So get back with you. Okay, so just chamfered, put the little scallop in there. A little tricky with the HRD. I can't really grind into it too much or it'll make it loose, so just got to leave enough meat in there to get thread engagement. Then I round out the edge here. You can see that, a little bit of glue still stuck to it. There you go. So I just round off that edge. Once I bolt this back together, I'll take the Dremel and I'll go in between the frames and chamfer the edges in here so that when you flick it, you don't drag your finger across a nice sharp edge. Line that all up. So we will go over yonder and take care of that. So just a sec. Okay, so I'm just gonna pop it back together here. I try to keep everything in a little tote that keeps everything kind of organized. So all I'm gonna do is just put the backspacer in there and put it back together real quick. Just give you guys an idea. Use my trusty Dremel. Or not my Dremel, my DeWalt drill with the clutch setting on it. Start all the screws, and then put them in until the clutch drives. Voila. Now we're all together here. So what I see here is I'm going to need to grind these bolts down and then chamfer the edge of the lanyard loop inside and out. Clean those guys, Dremel in these stops so they're all nice and even. I've already ground the outside of it. And now you can see why I grind the inside here, because you can fit your thumb in there now. Back here it's a lot tighter, so I like that. I like being able to get my finger in there because I got fat hands, so I'm a firm believer in not having sharp edges except for on the edge where it's supposed to be on a knife, so I always try to chamfer all my edges. I don't chamfer them enough to where it washes out the lines because I like the lines, but I just don't want things sharp because there's no sense in having an uncomfortable knife, because I make knives that are meant to be used, not to just sit on the shelf. So I try to chamfer all my edges with a Dremel, so I get on that, and yeah, I'm going to try from now on to get these videos a little longer for you, because I've been doing a lot of just hit and miss 5-minute videos, so bear with me guys. I'm gonna try to make some time for editing. I got Blade Show coming up though, so it's been awfully busy around here, but I'm gonna try to get this batch done, and I'll be a little more hands-on with y'all and give you longer than 5-minute videos if I can. So that's it for now. Signing off, and I'll see you next time. I think this is number 54. Okay, so little quick addition to the video. I'm just finishing up one of the A10s that I had already started plugging away on. And this is my quick and dirty etching or scribing logo setup. I have my diamond drag engraver from Tormach. It's a little spring-loaded diamond tip in a TTS holder. So what I'm doing is I just clamp the blade down. There's really not a lot of pressure that goes along with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to inscribe the logo, my logo right here. So basically what I got to do is zero it out. I'll turn the light off so you can actually see what I'm doing. I'll zero off and then run the program, and I'll show you how it works. It's pretty cool. It takes maybe 1 second to etch it once I zero it. But basically all I'm going to do is bring this over to where I want the tip of the spike to work at, and drop it down about 20-30 thou, zero out, bring it back up, run the program. Program's a little wonky because what I do is I have to start it and then turn the spindle off, because this doesn't need to spin. It actually just drags it, just like its name implies. So I do that, obviously turn the coolant off because I don't really need that, and I'll do it, and then I'll show you what it does. So I'll let you watch. See if I can zoom you in here so you can see what it's doing. turn the machine on. Alright, so now I'm just loading the program. And I'll turn you off for a sec because this will be boring. It might take me a minute. Okay, I got it all set up. Zoom in a little bit. I'm just a little off the top. I don't know if you can see. I'm just about 40 thousandths above it, and I'm gonna run it. Okay, that's it. Let me zoom out here, and I'll show you. All that takes all of 2 seconds to pop that in there. I like that a lot better than electro etching, and I can do that logo in any size I want, but I like it because it's unobtrusive, it's small, it's only about 3/8 of an inch tall, as you can see in comparison to my finger, and it's always perfect. There's no burr, there's no nothing. I love it. Alright guys, God bless.